guys, welcome to my channel. It's Tuesday today. I hope you have a really good Tuesday and you're having a good week so far. Nearly Wednesday, hump day. So yeah, thanks for joining me on this one. We're moving on now to part 3 of the Co-Stars with the Joan Rivers Show. A few people have said in the comments, what year was it? It's 1992 interviews, and this is on the Joan Rivers Show. We've done part 1, we've done part 2. I'll put them down in the comments below if you want to go and familiarise yourself with parts 1 and part 2. It's been really interesting so far. I think we're heading on into about the Colonel this week. So let's get cracking and watch it. As always, I'll put it at the side here and we'll watch it together, and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end. I've just filmed about 15 videos, so I'm kind of crazy. Here we go.
Talking with Elvis's leading ladies, Stella Stevens, Marianne Mobley, Sue Ann Langdon, and Nancy Sinatra. We were talking about whether or not he was a good actor, and Stella said he was a star, really, and you said no, you thought he wanted to become a good actor.
Well, I hate to disagree with Stella, but I felt when I worked with him that he really wanted to be good. He was insecure about it because he'd never had any formal training, and he greatly respected those actresses. There's a wonderful story about when he worked with Mildred Dunnock, and that's not the story, probably take too long to tell now, but you know, he really wanted to be a good actor, and I think he could have been. I believe that he was offered the Chris Christopherson role opposite Barbra Streisand in A Star is Born. He wanted very much to do it, but I'm told that Colonel Tom would not allow it because he did not get top billing.
So now Colonel Tom, and he listened to Colonel Tom.
Oh, I think, yes. You know, he was a product of the Colonel in every way, and he listened to him, and he was controlled by him. He was kept that way. He had his own little group of people around him that protected him and that he was comfortable with. And but I think if a director had worked with him and tried and not made him frightened,
but why,
he could have been a very good actor.
Why wouldn't he break with good? Like Nancy, you were so sophisticated. You're truly a child of Hollywood. Your father knew so much. You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't you say to him at one point, you should go your own way, you shouldn't let the Colonel tell you every move? Did you ever talk to him about that? Did he ever talk to you about it?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he ached, I think, to do good roles in films, in good films. We all laughed at the film we were making. We knew it was a typical Elvis vehicle, and he longed for good, sensitive, meaty roles. He was such a man of depth, including concern for children and the plight of black children in the world, and it makes me cry to think about it. He was so concerned for his fellow man, and he even told me once that maybe he should have been a preacher because he could have helped people that way, and I said, I don't agree. I think you've helped many more people this way.
What about the Colonel? What was this control over him? I mean, it's tremendous. Every decision was made by the Colonel.
I don't think Elvis could decide what he wanted for breakfast without consulting the Colonel. I mean, he just absolutely...
Brainwashed.
Absolutely. And I remember when I worked with him, I said, there's a wonderful script of Dark of the Moon, and there's a great part of The Witch Boy, and you would be so wonderful in it, and I would love to play Barbara Allen. And he looked at me and said, why knock success? I said, Elvis, I'm not knocking your success. I'd only like to see you shine in something where people would see you be a great actor, you know. And he resented me from that time on, and he withdrew from me more and more.
It's funny how you can just turn him off, you know, and you didn't even mean to offend him or anything.
Maybe just saying Dark of the Moon, he didn't know what the Dark of the Moon was a play.
Probably did not know.
Well, I don't know. I felt that Elvis was a very simple, loyal young man, and I think he felt that he'd made a deal with the Colonel and that he had to honor it. You have to realize that this is a young man who grew up in a very straight family in that he was taught all the ethics of you will be honorable and you will do this. And I think he found a great conflict because I think he always wanted to do the right thing. And Colonel Tom made the deal. Also, if you don't have a great deal of education and people tell you that this is what's going to work for you, see, it's very easy for us to sit here and say what we would do. but we have to walk in somebody else's shoes to really realize. For instance, Colonel Tom had a call one time, and I was in the office signing my contract. And I must say I like Colonel Tom because he was very nice to me, but you have to look at the total picture. But Time magazine called, and they said they wanted to put Elvis on the cover. And Colonel Tom said, that'll be $25,000.
Right.
And Time magazine said, well, you don't understand. It's a great honor to be on the cover of Time. And Colonel Tom said, you don't understand. We don't need you.
So he never was on Time magazine cover?
I don't know if he never was, but I know in that instance, the Colonel Tom said no.
They had to pay him if he was, I guess.
When we
And he didn't need it.
And he did. What a shame, because you wonder without him what would have happened.
Absolutely.
You know? Meanwhile, we're going to take another commercial break, thank God, because that pays for the program. And when we come back, I want to find out the biggest misconceptions that people have about Elvis. So we'll be back with more in a moment. Stay tuned.
Okay, so what do you guys think about that one, about part 3? It was starting to get into bullying a little bit, where they were kind of all like digging, apart from Nancy and Marianne. Marianne kind of had to come in, didn't she? You could see her, she stepped in. She was like, hey, look, come on then, let's get going. I think this is a big, massive disservice to Elvis when they say that Colonel Parker owned Elvis, brought him into fame, and all of that. I think it's a disservice to Elvis, because then you take away Elvis's power. And I don't like that, because Elvis, you can tell Elvis what to do. There's so many recounts. There's so many people who say the same thing. You didn't tell Elvis what to do. Elvis did what he wanted to do. Now, of course, the contracts and stuff like that with the Elvis movies, they were made like 5 years in advance. The Colonel made those kind of deals. So yeah, that's fair enough. But in other things, Elvis was a powerful man, and he made his own decisions a lot of the time. When it comes down to business, the Colonel obviously did have a hand in that. So yeah, I just hate that when it's making out Elvis to be someone that he's not. And I wish that they would show his strength of character, because Elvis was a strong, strong character to behold. Well, everybody says that. Everybody, even Colonel Parker says it. You don't tell Elvis to do anything. Now, I know that there's a lot of things with the Colonel, being on Time magazine there. He was such a guy. I mean, he really put Elvis into the mysterious bracket. So there's a lot of things that Colonel did that were different and that were great promotion. But there was other things that the Colonel did that wasn't great. And it's definitely, that's definitely the case. I mean, you can't say otherwise. I really, really enjoy the interviews, but I think that obviously Stella Stevens has a real beef with Elvis. I think Marianne Mobley is the biggest champion of Elvis so far. Nancy Sinatra is just beautiful and says amazing things and really respects Elvis. And I loved what she said, that she and her knew that Speedway wasn't the best. I absolutely love Speedway. There's no getting away from it. I love it and I will watch it. It's a musical. It's something I like. But you can't take away from Elvis wanting meatier roles. And that, you can't take that away. You can't say otherwise, because it would have been amazing for Elvis to have a really meaty role. That whole thing with Stella Stevens when she was talking about that part and Elvis saying, don't you want success? I found that very... I don't know, I can't imagine it, but obviously that is her recount of it. So anyway, these are my thoughts. It's hard. Oh, these are interesting conversations that they're having. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that they're saying, but in other parts I really agree with them. So yeah, it's just something to engage and to listen, and these interviews happen, so let's take them on board. It's always good to have thoughts and feelings in your mind, others' attitudes, and then it just lifts you and you're able to see a broader picture, a bigger picture. Like Marianne Mobley said, Colonel Parker was lovely to her and she liked him, but you have to think of the bigger picture. So it's kind of like that with these interviews, isn't it? So join me on part 4 next week. I hope you will join me for it. I'm interested to see it. I haven't watched this in a long time, so it feels kind of newish. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you on another. Bye everyone.